What is up, everyone? Joseph Buer here. And there were a couple things that I wanted to go over in regards to the last video I did on the Judy Hopps rigging tutorial series. Just a few things I need to clear up before we move on to the next full video. The first thing being is if you have a new version, if you've downloaded and installed a new version of Blender, or you're just coming into Blender for the first time and you haven't really messed around too much with the settings, one of the very first things you're going to want to do is go into the user preferences, which you can get to underneath the File tab. You can also use the shortcut Control-Alt-U to open them up. And underneath the File tab in your user preferences, you want to make sure that this auto run Python scripts is checked on. If it's not checked on, then all those drivers that we spent all that time setting up so that our arm chains could switch between FK and IK are not going to work, and it's going to break your skeleton. So make sure that's checked on, and be sure to save the user settings once it's checked. All right. The second thing I want to cover is the neck bone found in the form rig. That is the MCH neck IK _01. And I can't remember if I talked about this in a previous video, but it wasn't very clear if I had or not. But you want to make sure that that has an inverse kinematics constraints applied to it, and you want to make sure that the target is the control_head_01 that we made in our control rig. You also want to make sure that the chain length is set to 1. All these other settings you can leave at their defaults. You don't have to worry about having a pull target. All we need is just that one bone. Otherwise, that head wobble that we worked on in the last video is not going to work right. So you want to make sure you have this constraint set up. And then the third and final thing I want to cover is, in the last video, we talked a lot about this parent chain that I made so that our fingers could follow whatever bone was in control of sorry, I'm having trouble talking right now. Our finger bones would follow whichever bone was in control of our arm chains, and so we made this parent chain in order to do that. Now, I recently discovered that we don't actually need this full chain. The only bone we really need for this is the hand bone. This one right here. So the driver finger parent chain hand, and you could actually rename that to whatever you want. I'm just gonna take out the chain in this name and just leave it at driver finger parent _hand. But as long as this bone has 2 copy transform constraints, this bone should follow whichever hand bone is in control no matter what. And as long as the drivers are set up correctly, if we go ahead and we switch between the IK and the FK chain, you can see the fingers still follow perfectly. Yeah, so we didn't have to go through all that work to make an entire chain. All we needed was the single bone. Anyway, guys, that's it for the corrections for the last video in the Judy Hopps rigging series. Sorry I didn't post this sooner, but I wanted to make absolutely sure that everything was correct before I did, instead of just going off and making another video with a bunch of mistakes in it. The next video will be much more in line with my usual quality standards. So keep on the lookout for that. The next video is going to cover custom bone shapes for our control bones and bone groups. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.